Right. Kelpy and Ashley and Crystal.
Yeah, these are my girls right here.
Crystal on the left, Ashley on the
What's
right.
happening?
I'll try to remember these names. So where are you guys all from? You're from Orange County?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're kind of all around. Like, I'm from Southern Orange County, but I kind of bounced around Central Orange County and just like, moved around my whole life. You're from, she's from Seattle, but kind of like, same thing, bounced around Southern Cali. And same with her, honestly.
All over Cali.
How'd you guys end up in this lifestyle?
That's actually kind of an interesting story. Like, I kind of say they found me. Like, we always used to kind of joke about it, talk about it, like, oh, we could do this to get some money and things like that. We never actually took it seriously. But about 2 years ago, I kind of just started, dipping my foot in the game, kind of like figuring out the ropes and stuff like that. And then they were kind of short for money.
She looks so
like,
mad.
There's some ways we can get some bread.
You
guys were in the streets before this happened?
Yeah. I mean, we're actually we're homeless.
Yeah.
So I kind of just told them, like, yo, we can get some bread. You guys can, you're white girls. It's kind of a rare thing to see out on the streets. So we ended up just going for it. And
Ashley and Crystal, were you working as sex workers at all before
Before we met him?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I tried to do some things on my own. I had a little bit, but, nothing.
You need a pimp.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Tell me why you need a pimp, Kelpy.
Well, it's not just the security aspect and, like, taking care of the girls, but it's just, I found, at least with most of the females in my life, past girls I've had, these girls, something about managing money is kind of like, it's a thing they struggle with a lot.
Sure.
So I pride myself in being like a CEO-minded person. I'm really good at managing money. So I'm not taking their money per se to go spend it on random stuff for myself, but I'm helping them manage it so that we can put it into investments, things that are going to make us more money, things that are going to look after our health and all kinds of good stuff, not just, bullshit.
Yeah. And you guys will work
where?
I try and keep them off the blade. They have worked the blade a couple of times, but mostly I just try and post ads, and that's cracking. Since they're white girls, people want them. So
the internet is what you guys do it.
Yeah, mostly just ad work, posting ads on all types of different sites and magazines, and it's working.
You worry about the law?
I mean, like I said, I've been in some trouble before. I actually just got raided yesterday. But
for what?
In terms of getting caught up with the law on this, it's not a big fear for me right now, just because I kind of know the people I'm working with. Most of the tricks, I'm kind of familiar with them.
You have regulars?
Yeah, definitely regulars is how we make most of our money. I mean, we will branch out sometimes, but like I said, the regulars are really consistent money and pretty much like 3 times weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, things of that nature.
And being
they doing it all.
Caucasian, I think you're the first white pimp I've interviewed.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of people always told me like, oh, bro, you're pimping all this. I'm like, you know what? I wasn't really pimping before I got into this game, but when I actually got into the game, I just kind of like jumped off the edge and just started swimming real fast. I picked it up just like I picked up all the other activities that I've kind of messed around with. I learned them quick. I pride myself in being a very intelligent person, pretty street smart and book smart. So I kind of use that to my abilities when it comes to this game and other ones I may have dabbled in before.
That's sad. I would never get into this.
Drugs are part of your guys?
Yeah, we all, we're on different drugs. They're using crystal meth, and that just kind of, helps them keep working. But they were doing that before they started working with me. Before they were in my stable, they were already messing around with drugs. I personally, cigarettes and opioids. But I really cut back on the opioids a lot, just like, codeine, promethazine, and Percocet and stuff like that. But mostly just nicotine is my only vice. Try and stay pretty sober.
Is this just a business arrangement, or is there a romantic aspect to this?
I mean, I guess you could say it's a little bit of both. Like, I love both of these women. I mean, we've done things of like, a sexual nature and things like that. But for me, the number one thing I focus on is the money. And I'm sure they'll probably tell you the same thing is, they're really just trying to, have a better lives for themselves. And that, in this day and age, really involves money. It's like the ticket to freedom is what I call it.
Yeah, how old are you guys?
19, they're 18.
So you're all kids.
We're young. Yeah, but we still about our shit. We still getting this money. Like I said, feds just took $20,000 from me. when they raided me yesterday. But we're gonna make it right back, you know.
Wow. And Ashley and Crystal, you tell me how you guys grew up and where you came from before you got into this situation.
I kind of grew up in the valley, like Moreno Valley, and my dad lived in LA. My parents weren't together. My dad, an addict, wasn't there a lot. Haven't seen him in many, many years.
She's strung out probably right now.
Grew up in a hoarder house, things like that. So
A whorehouse or a horror house?
hoarder house, yeah.
Hoarder house.
Yeah, yeah. So the independent thing
Your
is.
mom was a
kind
hoarder?
of- No, my grandma.
Oh, your grandmother.
Yeah, we lived with my grandma.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah, and yeah, then made our way around California. My mom
But
found
you're a
another guy,
thought, though.
and
You
grew up
doing
in a
this for
pretty
a
nice
bread?
area, but
I would never sell my body for some
I always
bread.
felt like there was something missing, or like was in LA. Like I kind of got attached to that place, and like I still view that as like my home. And so
It's a nice city.
yeah,
For sure, nice.
Bro, she is literally on. She is literally on that vape. She haven't stopped hitting that vape since the video started, dude. That's crazy.
not really living the privileged life.
That
is
white
more-
picket fence life
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah,
is more
for
my
sure.
style. So
That's how I grew up. I grew up white picket fence style. Until I was maybe 12 or 13. And my parents' divorce kind of screwed all that up. We moved more down south, Orange County. And then after that, I struggled with drugs and stuff, so I was in and out of rehab for a long time. And then my parents, they sent me to like an Amish type of,
Like a cold, huh?
yeah, sort of.
So they were trying to control
It's
you.
not gonna end good for them in the long run.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was they put me in rehab for smoking weed or running away. They're like,
But now you
Yeah.
want crystal mouth
So
prostitute.
They're very strict,
very.
and you were rebellious.
I didn't like to be told no.
I'd say so then, yeah. Yeah. I think that's something we all kind of got in common is that like rebellious streak. We've all kind of strayed away from society's norms in terms of not just drugs, but just the way we think. We all kind of have that different mentality from go get a 9 to 5, hustle every day in a legal way to get minimum wage and all that. We saw more for ourselves because we knew we're special people. And so that's the reason we kind of dabbled
How
in
were you
this. And
special?
once we started doing it,
What?
we realized like, yo, this works for us.
What, dude?
So we're sticking with it and just trying to go up from here,
Ashley and Crystal,
This
you
is
would
a
say this
sad
arrangement
way
works
out.
for you guys?
yeah,
Yes, it's the best possible situation. Like we all met each other at the perfect time.
Yeah. You guys have been together. how long?
What? They want this?
I don't want to say exact specifics just because of the shit going on right now, but it's been months,
Yeah.
close to a year. And we've been friends even before that, probably like 3 years now.
So it's not the typical abusive pimp.
Nah, definitely not. You know what? With girls that I've had in the past, if they get a little bit of a really strong-minded rebellion, then I have checked a girl or two in my past, but kind of learned from that. The guerrilla pimping style just doesn't work. I'd much rather, just get them to do what I want with my mouth rather than, slapping them around and shit like that. Because at the end of the day, that's not good for nobody. They're not going to want to go work if I'm beating on them. They're not going to look good if I'm beating on them, giving them black eyes and things like that. So, yeah, I just kind of tell them like, yo, this is what I expect from you guys. This is what I want from you guys. A lot of times they go above and beyond. If they're not doing exactly what I want, I'll kind of give them some motivation to do it. And yeah, that's my main job other than managing the money and keeping them safe is to just
They
be
both
that
cute,
motivator in
though.
their
They
life
ain't got to
that
do this.
They both need that. We all need, honestly.
I mean, like,
So your
look at
role
them.
is
They
like their
both
manager,
pretty
you're their
good looking.
security guard, you're their...
Everything like that, yeah. I mean, there's been times when we've had tricks that are, most of them are unpredictable, but some that kind of just freak me out a little bit, and I think it makes them have a little bit more peace of mind when I'm there, just in a defensive way, kind of able to intervene if anything bad were to happen.
Have you guys had incidents yet?
We've had a few people try and short us on money, but we always made sure we got that right back.
Wow,
and
that is crazy.
We've had people intentionally try and stay longer above their time limit of the date and things like that, but we kind of just shut that shit down.
Them Converse is not
get them
gonna
out
make
of that
it
situation and usually move on from that trick.
The Converse is a lot of here.
So, Kelpy, your style seems to be a little bit of a throwback to like the 80s.
I'm 100%
90s pimps.
Old school in every way,
70s.
in the way I think, the way I dress, the music I listen to. Because the old school is the best school. Like, you can ask anybody around here and they'll probably tell you like, oh, the old school, they were doing this wrong and this wrong. Old school works. This new bullshit going around of people,
Really?
Beating on their girls because they think that's old school and, just putting them out there, busting cheap dates, all that type of shit. It don't work. Like, it might work for you, but it's not going to work in terms of the relationship with the girls. That's why you see them constantly switching hoes back and forth, because the girls aren't going to want to be out there not feeling loved, just having to do this every single minute of every day. You got to leave time for relaxation, leave time for fun, and most definitely got to stay fly.
Are there tennis shoe pimps down in Orange County?
You know what? Honestly, in Orange County, I've met a few pimps, and they're all just gangbangers.
Right.
They don't even, you could call them tennis shoe pimps for sure. They're mostly just, Chicanos, Cholo gangbangers, and they just find out, they realize prostitution is a way to make money, so they kind of get into it and shit
hustlers.
like that. Yeah, but it ain't a real pimp, in my opinion.
Right.
A real pimp's got to have love for his girls. He's got to have respect for his girls. He's got to earn it and demand it. But he's going to get it either way, and it's got to be a good mix of both. You can't just be beating on your girls, demanding respect, because that ain't respect at the end of the day. That's fake. And so I'm just really big. My whole life thing is keep it real, I don't like none of the fake shoes, fake jewelry, fake clothes that all these people be wearing out there, especially the pimps, because they're just basically spitting in the face of the culture and in the face of the game. And, yeah, it just gives a bad name to all the other pimps out there.
I feel them, but
a lot of people,
at the same time,
homies I've had and shit like
girls.
that, maybe not current homies, they're kind of like, oh, bro, you're a terrible person for doing all this. I'm like, bro, you don't know the half
I feel
of it.
that.
Like, I'm not saying these girls wouldn't be where they are today without me, but I'm saying that I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And I think vice versa, honestly, too. And that's because I keep it old school, because I keep it the way that it should be played. This game is not something that changes as the times go on. Seems to be what people think, but it's something that needs to stay traditional, because that's the way it's always worked. It's the world's oldest profession, and it needs to be played by those same rules that it was created with.
And you'll make sure the girls get what they need in terms of drugs and
100%. As much as I don't like them doing the drugs, I'd much rather go buy them a nice meal than I would drugs, but they need the drugs to stay normal and to work. So, yeah, I make sure that they're getting safe drug supply and, all the paraphernalia they need to consume those drugs.
Is it difficult with the two different personalities?
You know what? They're pretty close friends, so a lot of times they have qualities about them that will be difficult for me to manage, but I'm a people person, so I can honestly handle that pretty well. Kind of please both of them, including myself, and it works out, We don't have any issues with that more than normal.
You're still a young man. Did you have any idea that one day at 19 you'd become a pimp?
I'm not going to say I knew that I was going to be a pimp, but I had definitely like a personality where, like I said, I'm a people person, so I was kind of always having girlfriends when I was younger, and even if it wasn't in a romantic aspect, I just felt...
Let me pause this real quick. He knows how to get them drugs. He knows what to do, what not to do with them. He knows that all of this is profitable, right? But what I don't understand is, does he realize that, what they'll look like in the future compared to now probably won't be the same? The people that's buying them probably won't be the same over time. You know what I'm saying? So, in the long run, do y'all think this is a good idea? I'm just asking, bro. I'm just asking. Not like I'm finna go out there and do it. I don't think it's a good decision from him to be doing this. Honestly, I think, me personally, he should be working a 9 to 5 like everybody else. I should be working a 9 to 5 like everybody else. I'm jobless right now, dude. And we should keep the traditional way. Do things the right way. And go all the way through life doing things the right way, then the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? That way, when you get to, 40, 50, you ain't got to worry about ugly looks. You ain't got to worry about, hey, I'm not making as much money as I was back then when I was younger type stuff. So, yeah, he's enjoying this right now, but in the long run, this will not be good for my mans, bro. At least that's what I think. I mean, by any means, do whatever the fuck you want to do. This ain't affecting me at all. At all. But this is not right. This is definitely not right.
More comfortable throughout my entire life with females than with males. So I guess you could say that it was an idea in the back of my head. Not a for sure thing, but definitely there.
Would you describe yourselves as hustlers?
Oh, yeah. We are the #1 hustlers in Orange County for sure. I mean, pimping is my #1 hustle for sure, but in the past I've had other hustles, and I've always been doing better than my peers. Like I said, I'm making sure they're living the lives they want to live and just free of anybody telling us what to do, free of any roadblocks for the most part. So yeah, we're definitely the biggest hustlers out there.
How about emotionally for the girls? Do they get depressed or angry, anxious, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with anybody who's addicted to substances, myself included, if I'm not having my drug that day, and same with them, if they're not having their drug that day, there's going to be a little bit of attitude, a little bit of emotion involved. But I try and just bring them up, like they're both beautiful young women. I try and just reinforce that they need to love themselves just as much as other people around them love them. And for the most part, it works. I mean, we all got our mental issues that we struggle with, whether it's, actual mental illnesses or chemical imbalances or whatever bullshit you want to say, but we're just people, We got those types of problems, but we make do with it and we work it out.
What are your relationships like with your families?
Well, I'm gonna let them tell their own stories because I don't like to talk bad about their families, and both of their families oftentimes piss me off. But as far as my family goes, I had a decent upbringing. My family was kind of like hers, very strict, very controlling. And my dad kind of just allowed himself to get bitched around by my mom a lot, and they were always fighting and, beating on me and shit like that. So I'm not going to say it was the greatest upbringing, but I always had a roof over my head and food on my plate. And now my relationship with my family, they know what I'm doing, but I think they probably just don't really, they try and look the other way about it, Like when the cops came and served that search warrant the other day, they were on my ass about it, but I kind of calmed them down, cooled them about it, and told them yo, this is what's going on. I'm sorry I didn't come out and tell you guys straightforward. I kind of was under the assumption that they knew.
And Ashley, how about your family? You still speak to them?
Not really at the moment. Or I'm trying to distance myself from them. My parents never did anything to harm me physically or anything like that. But mentally and emotionally, they weren't really there. Obviously, my dad, haven't seen him since I was really little. So we've only had a little bit of communication for a couple of years. And we're both kind of ghosters, I would say. Hard for us to keep that communication flowing. So it's not really bothersome to me anymore as much like it was.
So no.
But
no.
Yeah, I always felt kind of like I was trapped.
I feel that
living
for sure.
with them. Yeah, or with my mom per se. And my stepdad, I'm not fond of him really at all. But yeah, so I always wanted to leave ever since I was really, really little. My mom would always complain because I'd be the only kid that would cry to get picked up from school because I didn't want to go home. Yeah, so we got in a last final argument out of all the...
Trying to see if she gonna say something wrong. I feel like if they would have messed this up, it would have been like Tina Turner, bro. He would have been beating them behind the scenes, dude. You know that it's some tension somewhere, dude. It's either some tension or they high right now. Because the girl in the blue, she been dazing off and hitting that vape since the video really started. And this girl in the red, dude, don't let me get started on her. She all rubby and touchy. She all doing all of this and stuff, dude. All on her body, bro. She really like tweaking, bro. Tweaking. But you could see, like, these two girls aren't right. So, in the end of the day, if they is prostitutes, bro, right? And he's, you know, pimping them out, whatever, dude. He just took them out of bad circumstances. And just like with everything else in my life, if somebody took me out of a bad situation, bro, bad situations come back in return, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if they don't have the drugs in the scene, bro, one of them start tweaking, bro, somebody could get killed. I don't say I don't see this. This is bad.
Millions and millions of arguments that we
Really
have
bad.
that go nowhere because there's that emotional disconnect where she just can't understand anything that I'm trying to tell her. So, she
So
kinda
you
gave
let
me the go-ahead
your
and
parents drive you away.
packed my stuff and I hopped out the window that night and I left.
They give you an inch, you take a mile, for sure. I mean, it's much better, I think, to be out on our own because, like, we are young, but we're adults, and just living with our families, especially the types of families we had, was so controlling, and so it was just preventing us from doing anything that we need to progress in our lives. So I think us finding each other through fate or through God, whatever you want to, you know, say how we found each other, it was a beneficial thing. We're all friends, we're close, we love each other, and we're kind of just able to, you know, progress together rather than just, before it was kind of me progressing alone and, you know, having girls and dropping them for new ones and things like that. But when I found the two of them and they found me, we really just grew and we made a real connection that I've never had before with other girls.
What would you wish your families would have done differently?
For me personally, I don't wish they would have done anything different. I think the way that they raised me, built me into the person I am today. It definitely built my character, gave me a good
For
mind,
real.
and kind of just
That's what happens.
look at the world a different way. So I wouldn't say nothing. I think what they did, even though it was harsh,
them
and,
two,
you know,
them
abusive,
two.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Crystal, what would you say about your family? Are you still in contact with them?
A little bit. They don't really like to talk to me. So it's usually like they won't speak to me for a few months, and I'll try and reach out.
They're relying on him.
Through
You get what I'm
multiple
saying?
phones because they block every number that I text them. But I'm not really sure. Our relationship, me with my parents, is always on and off. It's like it'll be really bad for a few months, and then it'll be okay, and then it'll be really bad, and then it'll be okay.
What do you wish they had done differently?
I wish that they just spoke to me when I was growing up with them. It's kind of, they would see me struggling, and
Not help.
they didn't want to deal with it themselves, so they would put me in like a place where I could get professional help, I guess.
Rehabs and stuff, right?
Yeah, I just wish they would have
that
talked
should
to me
go.
and tried to.
Just be there. Honestly, yeah. I guess if I had one thing about my family, I'm sure we all kind of wish that our family had just been there more, the three of us, because at the end of the day, if you don't have somebody to count on, you're gonna go look for that type of love somewhere else.
What is they
And
looking at?
I think that's what we ended up, you know, finding, not necessarily looking for it, but just kind of finding with each other, is that love that we never really had from our families. And that connection, that bond, it's something real. You know, just because we're not blood related doesn't mean that we don't have that same care and passion for each other that our families should have had for us.
Right. I feel that.
What would you guys say is the most important lesson?
So they just friends, basically.
in your 19, 18 years?
That he could
Honestly,
screw
the most
them
important
anytime.
lesson I've learned in my life, It's not advice that I'm going to take myself, never have, never will, but really just focus on the things that society tells you to do in terms of jobs and careers, because you don't want to be, walking outside to have a smoke and, getting put in cuffs, cops drawing guns on you, undercover agents and shit, and then running in your house, trashing your place, just looking for shit, looking for taking all your property. You don't want that. So I would say, stay in school. Definitely just, even if your family doesn't love you, love them. And that goes for anybody. If they don't love you, try and love them, because you can't fight hate with hate. You can only fight hate with love. And just being real to yourself, being true to yourself is the number one thing in the world. So just follow all those rules and you should have a pretty decent life, no matter what your upbringing is.
All right.
He's very heartfelt, but at the same time, he's a pimp. So I ain't gonna say he ain't doing them right, but in the end of the day, bro, we don't really know what he's doing behind that camera, dude. He could be saying he treating them right now, but then in the future, he beating their heads off, beating their heads in, you know what I'm saying? Torturing them. But anyway, man, what do y'all think about this situation? I honestly think, like, you can't sell females, bro. Today's society is too soft for this, too soft to hear this. A lot of people gonna be controversial about this video, and I really don't understand like why people are like that, but me reacting to this could probably get me canceled. You know what I'm saying? It could probably get me canceled. I don't know why people are like that, but I understand where society is coming from. I would not ever, by any means necessary, consider doing this ever. I don't care if I was on thick and thin. If somebody I know has to do this, I would try to coach them to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them type of people. I'm trying to talk to you. I could have been their friendship. They could have been in a relationship. Any one of them girls, if they went on them drugs, they weren't doing bad, they couldn't have been in a relationship with your boy Jamarcus, man. I could have been going out with one of them. I could have took them away from their parents. That's the only struggle. They didn't want to be underneath their parents' roof. That's it. So they just turned to drugs, turned to this lifestyle. That's it. They just didn't want to be bothered with their parents, man. And this has trapped both of them for life. They gonna be on drugs bad for the rest of their life. And they just overall, man, they not gonna live their lives successfully like they should. You know what I'm saying? He's way smarter than them two. Them two, they're gonna be strung out within the next 3 years. Looking down, I'm talking about down bad. Down bad, man. Anyway, man, that's it for today's video, man. I don't know what y'all think about this, but this is an interesting video. This is one of those, like, I don't know what to think about type of videos. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's your boy Jamarcus, man. I love y'all so much. Good luck, YouTube. See ya.